Yeah, of course, any programmer will tell you that. This is just waste of time. All these meetings, chats, all these discussions, they happen because the management doesn't know how to do it otherwise. That's why these meetings are happening. But if you talk to technical people, they will tell you that this is just a huge amount of time being burned there and wasted on these multiple discussions, no matter what kind of discussions are they. Management, technical, organizational, motivational, whatever. Because they're all informal. There are no formalities behind them. There are no protocols, there are no structures, there are no agendas in most cases, there are no formal conclusions to be made, and there is no traceability. But traceability is a super important component of software development now. We need to know where our decisions are coming from. We need to know, we use this information, we need to use that information, that historical information, to move forward, to make the decisions in the future. And when we have informal communications in the project, we are losing this historical information. We're losing traceability. No matter what kind of informal communications, meetings, chats, face-to-face conversations, phone calls, emails. And this way of managing knowledge encourages people to become experts, so-called domain knowledge experts, which is really damaging and hurtful for the project and the sponsor of the project. Because creating that experts and allowing people to become smarter, and not smarter, but more knowledgeable and more and possess bigger amount of information than the project itself, the digital artifacts, is really a danger for the future of the project. If people in the project know more than the digital artifacts contain, it's a serious risk to lose that people, and together with them to lose the information. So a smart product owner, a smart product sponsor should not allow that to happen, should not allow people to know more than they create in the digital artifacts. And I'm talking about these artifacts, I'm talking about source code, documentation obviously, source code, documentation pieces, unit tests, test scripts, again, historical logs and protocols. All of these are the knowledge which the project creates when it moves forward. And this is a so valuable component of any software development activity. The product we produce, the actual software product, is just a part of our result. It's just a deliverable which we deliver to the customer. But this is not everything. A way bigger value is created around that product in all those digital artifacts, which are created by people. And people, they create them when they talk to each other, when they discuss things, when they make technical decisions. So the proper objective, the obvious objective of any project sponsor is to somehow put this knowledge management under control, to make sure the knowledge is managed in a disciplined way. And all the informal communications, meetings, chats, phone calls, and face-to-face conference calls, for example, they work against the primary objective of a project sponsor. They allow people to not keep their knowledge inside digital assets, but instead keep that knowledge inside their heads. And this is not good for a project, not good for the sponsor, and not good for people as well, not good for programmers as well. The more we move forward, the more the project progresses, the more knowledge we need, historical knowledge. The more we need this historical knowledge in order to produce new pieces of software, in order to write more code, in order to implement new features. And where do we get that? Where do programmers can get that information? If there's only a chat and there's only the regular meetings and where we can fetch the information from some architects or people who stay in the project for a long time, then it becomes really frustrating for programmers and really annoying every time to get back to people to get the knowledge. The new programmer gets into the project and gets completely frustrated by the necessity to always be in need of talking to people who are here for a longer time. It would be way more convenient and way more comfortable for new programmers when they join the project to get a full access to the big, properly organized knowledge database, which they can search, they can find information easily there, they can submit some information there, they can modify it, sort of like a Wikipedia of a project or something like that, some knowledge base. Having access to that knowledge base will seriously improve the satisfaction of programmers and their interest and their motivation to contribute more to the project. That's exactly how it works in Xerocracy. We completely prohibit any kind of informal communications between project members. Like literally no communications at all. We don't allow meetings, we don't allow them. We're not just not having them because we don't like them, but we don't allow meetings, we don't allow any kind of chats, phone calls, of course, emails, any video conferencing, nothing like that. Everything happens inside our ticketing system. And we're using GitHub right now, but we can use any other system as well. So it's a huge bug tracking system where all the information, where everything that happened in the project before, all that historical data is kept. So when somebody joins in, that new programmer or an architect or a tester immediately jumps into the full history of everything that happened over the last months or years. And the structure of that information is perfect. Well, it's not perfect, but it's way better than you can find in any other project which relies on meetings and chats and phone calls. Because those guys, they don't keep this anywhere. They don't keep that information anywhere. Sometimes they document things. Sometimes they, after a phone call, they get into the documentation system of a project and write down what happened over their phone call. But imagine how disciplined, how much self-discipline every single project member has to have in order to follow that routine and every time document everything that happened. It's just not going to happen. People just get lazy. I don't do that. I don't do that. I would not do that. And it's not so easy to do. If tomorrow you just pick a random project and say to everybody then, hey, starting tomorrow we have no meetings, we have no chats, don't talk to each other, just go to ticketing system, it's not going to work. Because you need a lot of rules, principles, software, regulations, which we have in Xerocracy. Because it's not just saying that, like I said, it's not just saying that starting tomorrow we're not allowed to talk. It took us years to get to that model. So we experimented with different approaches. We tried to see how people react to that. We lost some people because of that. We lost some good projects because of that. Because not everybody were able to, to adopt that new model and actually to become more disciplined. We built a policy which we work on, which is the fundamental document in our company, which everybody work according to. And so we built that policy which regulates how people are allowed to communicate. And that makes those people happier, more satisfied of their work in the project. Because they see that their knowledge is appreciated. They see that their contribution is not being wasted, not going to nowhere. But their knowledge, every time they contribute something, it stays with the project forever. Every time they say a word, that word goes into the bug tracking system. Every time they complain about something, it's being recorded. Every time they contribute with a piece of source code and they put the comment on that source code, that comment stays forever. So they feel way more appreciated in the project. They feel way more valuable contributors of it.